This is day two of coding every day, and so this is basically the plan for today is to basically kind of just parse through a HTTP request. So right now I kind of have it able to grab that request, and right now I still just have the basic just reply of status code 200. Um, so this is basically the response it sends back when it's getting grabbed. Basically just saying, okay, like the request went through. Just so when I do get it tested, I know that it actually the request went through, and then the response was able to go back. But basically, we can go through this real quick. Um, so then I go to, I'm just gonna open up in the browser real quick. Y'all won't see this, but so I open up the browser real quick, and this is basically gonna be that HTTP request that I was talking about. And I'm really gonna be only looking for um, get requests. I'm not really gonna be implementing anything else right now. So with that too, I don't really need to look at much because these get requests aren't gonna have a body. So really, on this get request, all I'm gonna really look for is make sure it's a get. If not, I'm gonna send the status code of an invalid response or request. Um, and then any possible specific file slash URL is looking for right now. Um, and then I'll maybe probably go through this accept as well. Um, just because I think if I go through this, I could just make sure that any file it receives is inside this accepted file, um, or it's inside this type of accept. This accept does look a little bit more difficult, honestly. Um, just because I gotta make sure that um honestly it might not be that bad. I feel like I might only need to get the file extension of whatever file I would have sending, and then I just and then I get to make sure it matches one of these, I believe. Um and then I might also start building a like sort of response builder. Um I'm not 100% sure. Um I don't really have a lot of time today, so I don't know if I'll be doing that much, but if I finish this today, tomorrow I will probably be doing the response builder just so I can start actually sending that file and then also building that HTTP response. But for now, um, I'm just gonna build it. So I said yesterday I was gonna kind of make it as like object oriented, but right now actually what I'm planning to do, I will probably just make it as a function, and then after I get all the functions, get everything working, then I might just reorganize the whole thing into its own sort of object, so that way I can make these functions as methods of this object, or yeah, probably methods. I'm assuming. I'm not 100% sure yet, but so let's think. For now, I'm just gonna make it a void. Let's see. Um, oops. And then I'm gonna want, I wonder, not 100% with C++ if this is possible. Looks like it might be. Um, so I'm just declaring this up here. Let me think. Well, it's actually, so it's actually a character array. It's It's actually not a std string, I think. I'm more used to working in C, a little bit of C++, so I'm not 100% sure if these are the same. Um, just gonna search it up real quick. I don't believe they're the same. I'm pretty sure they're different because from what I believe, C++ strings are dynamic. So I think this is just a character array. So, um, so what I'm probably going to do, I'll just call this buffer. Then up here, I need to change this as well. Buffer. Okay. And then from here, so I should have, after this point, I should have the buffer. So I'll just do parser and then I'll pass in the buffer. Um, let's see. So I have the buffer in my HTTP parser, and then I kind of need to go line by line, or I should get the first part of the first. I'm gonna let's see. Um, let's think. Um, so let me think. So let me see. Buffer. So I have the buffer in right now, and then if I go for the next space, I believe anything before that space, anything before that space should be what I'm looking for. Because if I go through right here, so it should be the code, I believe, code, and then it should be a blank space, and then possible file from there. Um, let me see. I'm trying to think. So if I go about this a little bit of a simpler way, or just the first way that goes through my mind. So let's see. Um, let's think. Completely blanking on how to do anything. But let's see. If let's just do like a while. So while do, I don't know, uh, let's call it, we'll just call it method. And then, because it could technically be a post, I'll set it to 5 bytes. So 5 bytes. So maybe I can do, hmm, let's see. Okay, what if I just do while, let's do int I 0 equals 0. So while buffer at I doesn't equal, um, I believe it is actually a space. So, oh, 'cause this is a character to a character. Okay. Let's see. So you can do this. I'll do buffer I, because I believe I have. So while this isn't true, I'm just gonna do I plus plus, and then at this point, let me just do buffer I equals um, null terminator. Jeez, null terminator. Um, oh wait, null terminator. There you go. Yeah, and then okay. So from here, buffer I equals null terminator. What if I just do buffer? I mean, at this point, honestly, this should just post the method, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, just ignore that for now. Just gonna open up the browser. Okay, so I think it worked. I believe it worked. We just, okay, that doesn't work. See, that's what I meant by sometimes. That's what I mean by sometimes the bind doesn't work. So let me actually fix that real quick. So from here, so if the bind, let's think, let me check, let me check, let me check. So server socket equals socket, if server socket equals anyone, continue. If the bind works, break, else, let's see, wait. So continue, continue, continue. Well, because if the creation um works, so create the socket here, binds the socket here. So if it falls through, the socket gets created, but it doesn't get bound. And then it tries the next one, I believe, and it keeps trying, keeps trying, keeps trying. So if the socket creation failed, yep, bind should return something. It does. Yeah, it returns an integer, but it's giving the file descriptor. Um, so I believe I might save that right here. I'll call this um, binded socket. Or actually, would that work? Give this socket. Wow, it's a new socket. I wonder if it technically returns. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Just in case, I'll call it binded socket. Control C. And then, oh, I passed it. This might work. I think that's possible. And then here I'll just do if binded socket. If it equals -1, then I'll just say bind failed. Line, and then I'll just close the server socket, I guess. I believe that might be the error checking. I will have to check. Um, that bind worked. Go through this. So I get the method. Um, so so that's. I believe it's bind two actually. Not bind two. Well, I'll need to figure that out, how to do that. Um, so let's see. So technically I got the method. I was thinking about saving this into its own string, and then from there, um, after saving it into its own string, if I am able to save some of those accepts, I can just check to make sure if it's a get or not, and then I can build a response. Let's see. I need to do some more research on the bind, because basically what I'm wondering is if, because a bind technically changes, I believe, the the I believe bind should change the um file descriptor of the server socket because it then gives it an address. So I'm trying to think. I probably won't work on this yet. I'm still trying to figure out a way how to get you all to see my Chrome and the web, everything. So I'll wait for that. But basically my idea that I'm wondering is if I believe so bind I believe takes this file descriptor and then changes it based on this address that we put in, because then it binds the socket to this address, and I'm trying to figure out a way to error check that, because I've noticed a lot of times it just falls through. So the socket gets created, and then when it tries to bind, the bind doesn't happen, so then it goes down here. What if I do this, and then I'll just do bind, oops, bind failed. So I just do bind failed. I'll just do control S on this, and then I need to make, and then if I just do run it again, yep, I come here, okay, give me that, then I try it again, then I get the bind failed. Yep, exactly. That's when the bind fails. Yep, that's exactly so. The bind fails. But if a bind fails, this should probably just return, I believe. But what if when it goes through, it creates a new socket? Because based on what I believe, this um this get address info returns a linked list, and then that linked list, out of good practice, should go through that to see if each IP address is working, and then it goes through and sees if each address is working to make that socket. So when it makes that socket, so happens here, socket gets created. But if it fails, it goes back and creates another socket. So I wonder if a socket gets created and it passes through, but the bind fails and it goes back and tries to make a new socket, is it possible for that bind to work? Or is it like just the one socket is the valid one and the bind should just work? If that makes sense. Not sure if that makes sense. I'm kind of running out of time for today, but yeah, I didn't really do as much as I wanted to do. But that's kind of the thing. I'm just making sure I at least code a little bit today. But I got a little bit of error checking. So just to go over what happened today, um, I got a little bit of error checking, and then I come down here, and then I started my A parser. I technically got that method out, but I don't really want to change the buffer because I want to maintain the rest of that data in there. Um, there's definitely a new way. There's definitely a better way to do this. I'm just kind of getting what's working right now and then working on optimizing from there. I'm gonna try to figure out how to make it so web is easier to be seen. But yeah, right now is kind of basically what I'll end today off on. Um, I wish I did a little bit more, but it's an everyday thing. I'll have plenty of time, so I think that'd be okay. My plan for tomorrow is to possibly get this accept working, but honestly, I will most likely finish just getting this method working a little bit more, just to make sure that I can maintain that data, because I want to actually at least maintain this general header at the top. So when I start building that, I do want to start building that response builder function. So when I start building that response builder, I want to make sure I maintain that extra data at the top. So if they're requesting a certain URL or a certain file or anything, I'm able to get that and also verify that. But I got the method, so I'm planning to, when I get that HTTP, when I start making that HTTP like response builder function, I will probably let's see, I will probably try to just make sure that it's a get, and if not, I will probably put a general header of just like this HTTP 1.1 200 OK. I'll probably try to make it a I can't remember the status code off the top of my head, but I believe it's gonna be, I believe bad request is like 401, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll probably try to do that. But that's probably what I end up today on. Got a little bit working going. Not a lot, just didn't have a lot of time today, but I'm happy I was able to start coding at least a little bit. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow.